sensation, the feeling experience, as opposed to just the listening experience. Very, very important, because here already you start to see how speaking is actually way more than just sensation, what you're saying. The feeling experience, as opposed to just. And when we look at the ways that we can present on stage, we can see that all four of these initial elements that I've discussed are really palpable. That means that you can feel the difference when you are appealing to people's fantasies. You can already see that it goes beyond what you're saying. It's about the emotional connection. And again, when you look at your approach to change, to bring in a new concept, to shift the paradigm in your speaking, you need to be sensitive to people's resistances and people's emotion, again, about how they feel about change, how they deal with their own resistance in life, how they feel with their habit forming behaviors and how they get stuck and how they might sabotage themselves. You're helping kiss them over the edge by being more gentle about how you deal with change as a speaker. And then creating that anticipation again is this kind of electrifying excitement, which again is an emotion. And so visualization does very much the same. It appeals now to the sense of sight. How can you create that kind of image in their mind about what you're saying? Now, the fifth element is all about magnetizing the audience to come towards you. You're standing there speaking to them and you're building your leadership and your credibility, and you're showing with confidence and conviction your expertise and knowledge. But actually, there's something to be said about what is left unsaid, going back to this anticipation part of things, and really making yourself an attraction point is a very delicate skill. It's not such an easy one, but this element is really going to increase your leadership and your credibility, and also gives you a kind of attraction point that makes people feel like they want to know more from you. And it's important that you build into your speaking very specific tools to do that. It could be that you mention something that is very suitable to your audience, but you don't give them the whole story. Or perhaps you've built something, or you've written something, or you've developed something that you mention, but again, you don't take it to full explanation. You don't give all the details, you just mention it. Anyone can come looking for you based on being teased or having that little tip from you, but needing to know a little bit more. Work with subtlety and honesty to do this, so that you're not manipulative and you're not kind of sort of suggesting things to people that you can't deliver. So you need to be sure that you do have that information. If you've mentioned a piece of research and you have the source, then by all means, this could be one of them. Maybe you refer to a case study, and you even have many different ways that you can actually create this magnetism. The next one on my list is how to appeal to the audience and their self-interest. This is actually taken from Power, a book by Robert Greene, who talks a lot about what power really is and how to be influential and how to understand the game of life, but also the behavior of human beings. How do we create respect for other people? What do we base that on? How are we sure that we want to invest in someone? There's a lot of reasons that people can negotiate successfully and others not. And one of the key points he talks about is this next point, this next element that you can begin to weave into your speaking ability, is to be able to appeal to the interest that your audience has and not your own. So it's about looking at their self-interest and appealing to that. They don't need to listen to you because you're great and wonderful. They don't need to do what you say because you know a lot of stuff. They need to listen to what you have to say and follow what you're talking about. Take up the action you're suggesting, not because they feel mercy for you or they're grateful to you, but rather because you've understood their needs and you are in an alliance with them in some way, and that alliance benefits them. And I think you need to find a way to make sure that you can manage that with a level of delicacy. So it's about being able to uncover their needs and to know that you have a way of linking your information to what they need, and to create this alliance that you are the one who's going to now help them with that, or you are going to be there for them. You're in their corner. You're really there to support. And then, of course, the last element, which is probably the most easiest to understand, but actually really takes a level of authenticity and genuine assessment of who you are and what you're about, is your credibility. How do you mention credibility without looking like you're bragging, or that you're, you know, making the same point over and over again? I've seen people do this as speakers that really try to do it in a non-slimy kind of way, but it doesn't really work. I've seen others who don't try at all to not do it in a slimy way, and it also doesn't really work. And then there's a cultural aspect to this. There's lots of places where it's okay to talk highly of yourself, and other places where it's really not. And some people think that's great, that's amazing, you know, this person's incredible because they've done all these things. But I think you need to be more subtle about it. And I think you need to be not just subtle, but considerate of the fact that you might be in a room of amazing people way beyond your own caliber. So, you know, when you want to create the influence and leadership out there for others, it's not really about all the things that you've done and all the things you know. It's more about how you've understood what they need. And so credibility is something that can be showcased more in your sense of disclosure about something that makes you normal and easy to relate to, because when they see your knowledge in contrast to that, that immediately says that there's something about you that is so mature and so capable that you have no problem in mentioning, you know, some of your vices, or, you know, what makes you approachable. It's also an amazing way to deflect envy, because the minute you build yourself up as someone amazing, or let's say you've done a lot of amazing things, or your speech has been amazing, it's really important that you can also humanize, really connect with people, and that creates a lasting impression, because people admire that and respect that more than anything else. Is someone that they can still relate to. The perfect analogy metaphor here is the king who loves his people. So the king who goes out to meet the little kids in the town square, he doesn't just stay up in his castle and tell everybody that he's the boss. So this kind of credibility needs to be attractive and intriguing to people, where you use a case study in your speech, or maybe you mention a head count that is relevant to showcase your expertise, instead of bragging or acting superior. And of course, using these moments where you disclose something about yourself personally that maybe doesn't make you look so fantastic, but you speak about how you overcame it, admitting some of the vices you have, so that you create that relatability and approachability. And as I said before, to also deflect envy, so people are not sort of against you with jealousy and envy. Now, I've covered quite a lot more than the 7, and I really hope it's helped you. If you caught this video on YouTube and you only got a few of them, you can find the rest on Helen Aha on my business page on Facebook. And if you'd like to be one of our speakers, or you would like to come along to one of our free speaking events, you're very welcome to find out more about all of this in our groups. We have a Women of Truth group where we showcase women, and we also have Extra Visionary, a conference that's developed for really pioneering thinking, healers, scientists, innovators, researchers, amazing people that bring us new ways of living into the future. Very excited about it. And there are application processes for it. We are looking for our speakers for this year and next year. And then we have some highlight events that happen in Cyprus to showcase all these amazing, incredible people. If you'd like to be one of them, or you're interested in some speaker training or some mentoring or coaching from me, you can always reach out with a private message or a comment on the bottom of any of these videos. And I do encourage you to visit the website, www.helenaha.com. It's being rebranded, so it's very exciting, new flash, wonderful stuff coming soon. And of course, remember that we are in a time where Andy Warhol said everyone will be famous for at least a minute in the future. But the point is, are you famous for the right reason? This is my message to you. Think about it a lot, and I would be loving any opportunity to work with you and support you in the future. Thank you so much, everybody.